Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th, explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 8, then Saturday, sunshine with a high of 24. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities, but don't miss out on the chicken, fish, brisket, Philly steak, and more. Maverick's is located in Roseville on Lexington Avenue, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit mavericksbeef.com.
Good day to be indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, didn't cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. A Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot, and we discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. We're always pleased to have our friend, State Senator Mary Kunesh on, and Mary, great to see you as always. Busy as always, I see. How are you doing, and how busy have you been this week?
I'm doing pretty well, I have to say. I've just been really incredibly busy dealing with this metro surge here in my community. It keeps me very much on my toes. Every morning I am committed to getting up and going out to patrol schools to ensure that, watch out for ICE and make sure that our kids are getting to school safely. I represent the communities of Columbia Heights and Fridley, and they have been like the center of a lot of what's been happening here. ICE has been unrelentless, just absolutely every day, all day, relentless. And while you would think that schools and those sort of places would be sort of sacred grounds where they won't bother the community. That's not the case. You've heard about Liam, little 5-year-old Liam and his dad that were taken. It wasn't on school grounds, but it certainly affects our schools and our educational system. And ICE has been circling them, the schools like sharks. You know, there have been reports of them sitting outside in their cars with binoculars, and the students looking out the windows and seeing them sitting there, or they'll use the parking lots to sort of intimidate the community. And then intimidate our principals, our superintendents, and school board. There's been many reports of ICE sitting outside the school board's members' homes, just like, trying to intimidate them. Our superintendents have also been yelled at and swore at when they're outside in the, during dismissal or when the kids are arriving. They've been followed by ICE. They parked outside their houses. So it's been really tough. And one of our very dearest resistant fighters, shall I say, was abducted yesterday and taken to Whipple. He's a white guy. And we had to jump into action and get him released. So it's kind of never ending. And as this morning I was at a meeting for the Minnesota School Board Association. All the superintendents and principals and a bunch of the legislators that are in education were there, and we were talking about what our focus is and what is our priority for this next year. And it'll definitely be around absenteeism, distance learning, and then how we're going to address the new issues around mental health for our students and our staff. And so it's kind of never ending.
Wow. And I saw a great meme that said, imagine yourself being stung by 4,000 bees. If 700 leave, how are you feeling about that? And it's like, heck yeah.
Yeah, you're still going to get stung. And we have a few more of our students that we need to get back from Texas. They fly them down to Texas really quick, so you can't intercept them. And the conditions down there are just atrocious. There's a big measles outbreak down there. And now the administration is trying to fast track the removal of Liam, 5-year-old Liam, and his family out of the country, to deport them as quickly as possible. And these are people that entered the country through legal ways. They were in the process of getting all their papers. They met all the requirements, and now they want to fast track them out. And so then you just rake your brain, like, what can I do? Who can I call? What kind of, they have so many people working with them. They don't need my advice, but that doesn't stop me from, feeling somewhat responsible or obligated to do some of this problem solving. So on the one hand, I'm learning about all these incredible resources and people that are out there supporting our community. On the other hand, I'm realizing just, kind of how limited my power or influence is. And as an elected official, that's kind of a hard realization.
Well, they're throwing so much at us, the Epstein files. It was reported that Trump was in the Epstein files 38,000 times. So he was mentioned more in those files than Harry Potter was mentioned in his books. So why, all the stuff going on, but really we should be protesting around the White House now to get these pedophiles out of here. But that's a whole nother story. We're dealing with.
That's a whole nother story. Who was it that said? Was it Marco Rubio that said, like, can we just stop talking about pedophiles? Can we just stop talking about something to that effect? And then the president said something the other day about, they asked him about Epstein files, and he's like, "Oh, that's old news. We need to move on. Why are people still talking about that?" It's like, we need to think about something else. And I'm like, well, let's think about getting ICE the hell out of Minnesota.
Exactly. Well, and you're busy doing that, and there's election season coming up, and and I was Wendy and I were delegates or becoming delegates at the caucus this last week.
Excellent. Good job. Yeah, we had caucuses. Well, nationally, we had caucuses. And I can tell you, and I'm sure it was the same where you were, I felt like this was the Obama election again, because there were so many people that came out and so many new people there. I mean, there was line out the door, the classrooms that typically were, a little empty, never like even half full. They were just busting at the seams. And that's always a really exciting night for candidates, but also for the community, because those people that are running are rushing from room to room to talk to them and address the folks in hopes that they will down the road at the convention endorse them. So I met a couple of candidates I hadn't met before, and then heard a lot of really good things that are happening.
Yeah, well, at our caucus in Highland Park, Lieutenant Governor was there, and she rallied up the troops. It was excellent, and I was handing out stickers, and we ran out of stickers. That's how many people were there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Peggy didn't make it to our neck of the woods, but she had representatives there to, talk about her and her platform. And there was one room where they listened really intently to both candidate representatives. And then one woman said to Peggy's representative, would she be a fighter? Would she be a fighter in Washington, D.C.? And both of us said yes, absolutely, like spontaneously. They weren't talking to me, but it was like, yeah, she will be a fighter. So we'll see what comes of that as she continues to work her way through the state. Angie Craig is a formidable opponent, but there are things on both sides that need to be worked out, and I'm really looking forward to having a representative that's going to fight for us, that has been fighting for us, and really aligns with the Indigenous values.
Absolutely. Hey, we are here with State Senator Mary Kunesh, and we're going to take a quick break. This is Native Roots Radio.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th. Explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Deani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations in Deani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no 2 colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Hey, Victor, you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I am your host, Robert Pilot, and we are here with our friend, State Senator Mary Kunesh. Well, it's getting to be close to being that time of year again, and we have one Senate advantage and a tied House.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be. I don't know what kind of a legislative session we will have here in Minnesota. We are under siege by ICE.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tied House of Representatives, so they share power. They share the chair seats. We have a one-person majority in the Minnesota Senate. We have a governor that is not running for re-election.
Mm-hmm.
And our economy, our Minnesota economy, especially in the metro area, is really being negatively impacted by this ICE metro raid. So many of our shops and our stores are either having to shut their doors completely or have diminished the kind of income that they had been, able to. Like where I live in my district on Central Avenue and University Avenue, those are just lined with ethnic immigrant shops that either can't open up or are losing money by the ton, which means they can't pay their employees, they can't pay their rent. And so there's, the best thing is that people are stepping up to help with those things. But if and when this ever ends, how are we going to dig ourselves out of that? And that's where we get taxes. Businesses, property generate tax dollars for us to run our state. So I'm the chair of Education Finance, and I am not expecting to have much of a budget this year. It's not a finance year; it's a policy year. But we usually have some kind of a supplemental budget that we can work with towards educational issues. I don't know that we will have anything extra. I hope we don't have a negative budget, but I feel like because this is an election year for all of us, all the Senate, all the House members, all our, governmental officials, that there is going to be a lot of people standing up and making, these speeches for political reasons. And, it could get ugly. I mean, I was at a forum the other night, and one of the senators on the other side of the aisle actually made the statement that one of the reasons we don't have money in our schools, or why we're struggling, is because those immigrant kids steal the money. That's what he said. And if we didn't have to pay for like EL, think of how we could use that money for other things like AP classes and things like that. I mean, I was horrified. And I have to tell you that after that session, there were audience people from that community that came up to me and said, I am so sorry. We don't feel that way. And one woman said, I'm Republican. I have in-laws who are Mexican. I don't abide by that at all. And she had tears in her eyes when she was telling me. The student that spoke had tears in her eyes when she came up to say how hurtful that was. So that made me feel like those folks out in greater Minnesota that sometimes we don't feel, are aligned with our values, are maybe realizing that they need to, relook at what that is and who's representing you. And I think, Robert, you participated in precinct caucuses, And we need people to be participating at every level of deciding who is elected to run our schools, school board, to run our cities, to run our counties, to run our state, to run our nation. Because obviously what we are seeing is that elections can have really devastating consequences. And so this session will begin on February 17th, and we will be in session through May. That doesn't give us a whole lot of time to get things done, but I'm not real optimistic that we'll be passing anything really super duper. I hope we talk about the Equal Rights Amendment again.
Yeah.
I carried that when I was in the House, and we passed it in the House. I carried it in the Senate. We passed it in the Senate, but the opposite parties didn't, or bodies didn't pass it. So I am still determined to get that done before I finish my tenure at the legislature. And so I'll be up for re-election in November, and hope that I'll have that opportunity to continue doing the work that I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. And also, people need to know this. I'm glad you talk about these things because there's so much going on and so much negativity and so many lies and half truths that we have to really fight back by just talking about the truth, like you just did.
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of at the end of the forum, and I asked for that microphone, and I said it straight. Our immigrant community puts more into our tax base than they ever get back. Right. They don't get health insurance. They don't get a lot of the safety nets that we have around, that the rest of us have access to. When it comes to Social Security, they pay into Social Security, but they can't draw from it.
Right.
And so, those of us that are looking down the road at that Social Security, we owe any kind of the health of it to our immigrant community. And so when they say that they are, taking advantage and they're stealing from us, I mean, who's going to do those jobs that they have come to do and they work so hard to do? Quite honestly. And so I think after this metro surge and the depletion of a workforce, Minnesota might be in a bit of a hurt.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and not to get too controversial, but, we've grown up with Holocaust survivors. A person across the alley had numbers tattooed on him. And then we had the attack on, gay marriage, and that changed, and all these things that have changed and reverting back to just all this hate. And I'm sorry, but you're either for pedophiles and for racism, and there's no in between. And it's hard to say because I know people that support this, and it's unbelievable that they can rationalize and just watch Fox News and pretend the boogeyman is the immigrant.
Yeah. And remember, anybody who's here that is not 100% Native American Indigenous all come from immigrants. And every generation that came under duress, like from the wars or from starvation, they all needed time to assimilate. They all needed time to find their place and their homes in this country. Like, I grew up in Stearns County, Minnesota, that has a huge German immigration communities. There were farmers out there. There were kids I went to school with whose grandparents didn't speak any English.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of racism against them, or I don't know if racism is the ethnic issues around, different groups. There's always going to be an underdog in our society, right?
Right.
There's always going to be the next immigrant group is going to be the one that's picked on or pointed at or called you're just sucking off the teat of the society. That's always going to happen. And
Right.
that just has to stop, because we are all the product of immigrants in one way or the other. And, let's look at history and see how terrible that whole process was. And why wouldn't we make it better and easier for the next group of immigrants that are coming, especially as they get used to our communities, our societies, want to be a part of that. Their kids are involved in their communities. They just want a place to live quietly and peacefully, get their kids educated, make some money, have a home, get some decent health care, like the rest of us.
Right.
It's just like the rest of us.
Well, and I just got to say, this next blue wave, see how easy it was for this orange one to change all these things. I hope we can get some universal health care, and that would be a game changer for everybody. You won't be a slave to your job because you have to unhappy with your job because of your health care, that you can move, and that'll really help the economy boom.
Yeah. Health care, child care, all of those things, We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, Robert.
Right on. You and me on Fridays. Thank
There
you
we
so
go.
much. Thank you so much, State Senator. I hear the grandbabies, they're calling you. I think they're hungry.
Probably. They're
Right.
just waking up from a nap.
Right on. A big peeny gigi. Thank you so much. And
Yeah,
we'll talk to you soon.
everyone.
Oh. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Deani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Hello, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming Indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Deani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th. Explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
Hey everyone, it's Ellie Krug, the host of The Illegal Trans Woman here on lovely AM 950. Now you know our show is about advocating for transgender and non-binary people. And let me tell you, in the political climate that's going on right now, we have a lot to talk about. I have exciting news. Effective immediately, our show is moving to 3 o'clock on Saturdays on AM 950. Plus, you'll always be able to find it on podcast wherever you get your podcasts. So join me, The Illegal Trans Woman, 3 o'clock Saturdays.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 8, then Saturday, sunshine with a high of 24. Go Dog Go, Vapero Vey is going on now at Children's Theater Company. Get tickets today for this joyful bilingual musical where delightful dogs drive, swim, play baseball, and race to the big dog party. Get your tickets at childrenstheater.org. ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are here with Wendy Pilot, and we're going to do our best that we can for a couple segments here. Fun Fact Friday with our Sacred Native, our Sacred Animals segment. Wendy, and introduce yourself in a good way.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanajihi, and that means cares for them. And I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I am a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level, and it's always my pleasure to do that. Yeah, I really wanted to thank you. I wanted to keep things light today for a Fun Fact Friday. Yeah. 2 segments filled with fun facts, whether maybe you know them and some that you might not. Sometimes you forget them after a while.
That's right.
Yeah, but I was just reading something that Scotland, when they build a new building with bricks, and a lot of their buildings they build with bricks. So Scotland passes a law for all new buildings that are built with brick. They have to install a Swift brick. Now, that's not like a Taylor Swift brick or a Swifty brick.
Ooh,
it's a brick. And it has like a hole in it, and it's hollowed out to help swifts and other endangered birds for a habitat for them. Isn't that awesome?
That is cool.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's great.
More humane laws.
Yes, more humane laws. That's what I like to work on. That's what I do as a policy volunteer. Anyway, yes. I'm always looking for things to do. Maybe we could pass a ordinance here in St. Paul that all new buildings that are built with brick have a Swift brick in it. I'd like to do that.
That's cool.
But anyway, Robert, you've been awesome in sending me some information. And it's called Did You Know? And a lot of them are from a Facebook page called Develop Express.
Mm-hmm.
But you could go on there and it's all Did You Know?
Well, don't tell them that, then they won't listen to us. They'll
but
go
then
on
it
their
has
own.
a lot of information. So I'm going to start out talking about coyotes. What do you always say about coyotes? About that?
The Roadrunner? I don't know. Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. They can run up to 40 miles per hour.
Wow.
Coyotes live in every United state except, do you know which state in the
Hawaii?
Yes.
I sent these to you.
So you already read them. They sometimes fake limp to lure prey into traps.
Whoa.
Yeah, so if there's a trap around, they're really smart and they'll limp around so that that prey will go in the trap. Coyotes can mate with a dog. The hybrid is called a
dog.
Coy dog. COY dog.
Like coyote.
Coy
dog.
Some Native American myths call coyotes trickster gods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they're very tricky and tricksty.
Yes.
Coyotes mark territory with their poop like street signs.
What?
Coyotes mark territory with their poop like street signs.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Coyotes communicate using more than 11 different vocalizations. They've learned to adapt to cities and suburbs, even using crosswalks at night.
That's funny.
They do. And it's really funny. When I used to work at the University of Minnesota, I would drive down Mississippi River Boulevard, and there was a few stop signs with crosswalks. And I would often run into turkeys crossing. They would be right in the crosswalk. It was the funniest thing.
Well, you always think of the joke, what does the chicken say when he crosses the road in the crosswalk?
Yeah. What is it to get to the other side? I know. Okay, here's another did you know? Cows. I love cows and I don't eat them, but anyway, cows have best friends and become stressed when they're separated.
Oh.
Yeah, cows can sleep standing up. They are known to sense storms or earthquakes before they happen. A lot of animals can do that. Red doesn't anger bulls as they can't see red. It's the movement that provokes them. I always thought that they didn't like red.
Wow.
Yeah. They can become depressed or anxious if isolated. The heaviest cow, Mastodon, weighed 3,800 pounds and was is this China? I don't know what that word is. Chianina. Anyway, a Holstein cow once produced 9,000 gallons of milk in 1 year. That's a lot of milk. Cows have a near 360-degree field of vision.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, I like cows, so they're my friends.
Yes.
So
you have paintings of them.
I know. I have a painting of a cow that I did very much. It's going to be for sale soon.
Yeah, a big announcement coming up.
Yeah. Okay, cats. So I just want to say this to everyone out there. This is the first time in 25 years that we've gone this long without having a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It reminds me of memories.
Lucy was our last cat. We loved her so much. She was kind of a pain in the neck cat. Like she was always in your face, always meowing, always grabbing your hand, always on your laptop, always walking across the keyboard. We loved her, but she was just kind of a little rascal. Anyway, cats can smell human emotions through chemical changes in sweat.
Wow.
Yes. In 2015, in a town in Russia, a baby was abducted in a freezing hallway. A stray cat named Masha found him and curled up beside him to keep him warm. She meowed loudly to get someone's attention. The baby was found and saved. Masha was hailed as a hero for love and bravery. Cats adopt abandoned kittens and sometimes even puppies.
Wow.
Yeah. Cats are awesome. The next one's about horses. And I really love, I love all animals, but I don't really know very much about horses. So I really need to learn more about them. A horse's heartbeat can sync with yours when you're calm and connected.
Oh.
Yeah, their teeth can take up more space in their head than their brain. Horses can express over 20 different facial expressions. A horse's hooves is made from the same stuff as your fingernails. Some horses grow mustaches, especially shaggy breeds like Gypsy Vanners. Horses can sleep both lying down and standing up. Their eyes are some of the largest of any land mammal. And then the next one is gallop into fascinating facts and hit follow for more.
Jeez. You're reading these pretty fast. We should discuss in between them so we can stretch the show out a little bit.
So is there anything about the horses that you want to say? I thought that it was interesting that their teeth can take up more space in their head than their brain.
Well, I know a lot of people out there have more mouth than brain.
That's for sure.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd like to. I only went horse riding maybe twice in my whole life. Yeah.
I can't now because I might break a hip.
Yeah, Yeah, I've never had really the opportunity to be around horses and to take care of them or know much about them because
you'd love it.
I've always lived in, like
Urban,
cities.
yeah. Well, most people that don't have own horses do own horses in a corral where they can go and spend a certain amount of money every year to get them fed and walked, and you go out there and ride your horse.
Right. I don't know if I would be into that. Like, I don't know if I'd want to do that. I'd want the horse
You'd
to
want to
be
go
on
to
the
the
property. Like, I want to go live on a ranch and have a couple of horses.
You want to go shopping with the horse. You don't want them confined.
No, I want the horse to
be born free.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. So my favorite animal, the dog. Dogs can smell human emotions such as fear or stress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know Wanda could. She's just like, oh, you're stressed out today.
Yeah. She comes to me.
Mm-hmm. Your dog leaning on you shows affection, trust, and a need for closeness or reassurance. Yeah.
She does that when she needs reassurance.
I was out today and I walked out of this store and there was a dog. It was like a golden doodle, one of those big poodly Labrador looking dogs, but he's carrying a really big stick. And it was like the cutest sight that I was just like, oh my God, your dog's so cute. His name was Bo. And his owner said that he picks up a stick, on a walk, and sometimes he'll keep the same stick for months and months, and he'll carry it for miles and miles, the same stick. And then he gets tired of it and gets another stick. Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
I told him about my dog, Bo. When I was a kid, I said, I had a dog named Bo, but his name was Mr. Bojangles. And he said, we call him that sometimes. Isn't that funny? That was a conversation I had today with somebody with a dog. Anyway, tilt their head to better understand you, get a clear view of what's interests them. Yep, they dig for fun, comfort, they hide food, or even anxiety they'll dig.
I wonder if little Poncho is anxious.
He dug lots of holes in the backyard.
And in the furniture.
I think he's just being a rascal. He's a rascal.
He did it to fit himself in the chair.
Oh, I know. We've told that story, but we had this little lazy boy recliner chair, and he literally dug a hole in this cushion of the chair that fit his body perfectly. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
And then the cats, we had a couple of cats at that time too, scratch the whole sides of that same chair. And we were getting rid of the chair, and it was like an embarrassment. Like I had like an old sheet over it just for the animals. Like it's like, all right, go for it. And when we threw it out, I said, Robert, I don't want anyone to know that chair was in our house. So we put it in the garage, and Robert chopped it up in little pieces and threw it out a little at a time because I was so embarrassed.
Took a couple months to get rid of that chair.
I know. I'll finish up dogs in the next segment. We have a couple more fun facts on dogs.
Right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're kicking back today and doing some fun facts with Wendy and our sacred animals. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events in February. Learn about our bachelor's degree programs on February 24th, explore master's degrees, doctoral degrees, and graduate certificates on February 26th. Find out about financial aid options and how to apply. Discover how Metro State can help you take the next step in your career. Sign up today at metrostate.edu/open house. You belong at Metro.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Gianni Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Deanna Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
Thinking about college? Consider Minnesota Private Colleges. These 18 nonprofit institutions keep the focus on students with small classes and professors who will get to know you. You'll find students from all backgrounds, and no two colleges are alike. And when it comes to cost, they're more affordable than you think. Find the college that's right for you at mnprivatecolleges.org/possible. That's mnprivatecolleges.org/possible.
Hi, I'm Tiergan.
And I'm Hadley.
We're two of the very first listeners, and we're
still listening to Native Roots Radio.
In this portion of the show, we like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
No.
I was waiting for it to say, welcome back. This is Robert Pilot.
Oh, I could have done that for you.
Yeah.
And threw you off again.
A little bit.
All right, sorry. We'll talk about that in
therapy.
Hey, you don't have to reintroduce yourself,
No,
but Wendy, take over, and we got more fun facts,
We
which is really good to lighten up the load here on a heavy Friday and every week.
Feel light. I've been
Sure.
feeling very heavy. Anyway, we were talking about dogs from the last segment. So when they feel a sudden burst of energy, they like to do zoomies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Wanda's done zoomies, right?
Yeah,
she
just
still
recently.
kind of does. Yeah, she's old. She's an old dog who does zoomies. Yawning when you're relaxed but anxious or trying to calm themselves or others. So that's when they yawn. Yeah. Rolling over is submissive or an invitation for play. Dogs can recognize over 250 words.
Well, slow down there. Let's talk
gestures.
about that.
Rolling over is submissive or an invitation for play.
Yeah, well, submissiveness to someone they trust.
Yes.
You know, and that's a thing that I heard about that. Is they don't do it just for anyone.
No, I know. Absolutely. And an invitation to play. And it's really, I think dogs can recognize over 250 words and gestures. Absolutely. That's our little dog Wanda's so smart. And right after we finish this, we can't say she's in the room with us, so I can't really talk really loud.
You have to spell.
We're gonna take it to Chuck and Don's, which is a pet store.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's one in Minneapolis, and there are a couple splattered around, but they have really good pet food and their employees are really awesome. So anyway, we're going to Chuck and Don's. We take her with us, and she goes to the store, and she loves the store. She gets to sniff all around, and we get her food and treats, and she really loves that. But Robert, we was talking about that person that we don't want to mention her name, but we know her very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Her dog saved her life.
Yeah.
Because dogs can smell cancer.
Yeah.
And this dog of hers was like pawing at her and sniffing and sniffing and sniffing. And finally she went to the doctor. She ended up having breast cancer.
Yeah.
But it was at the very, very early stages. And she was treated and she's perfectly fine. But if it wasn't for her dog, who knows? She would have, just left it.
Right.
She didn't know. She didn't have any symptoms. She was just feeling fine. But it's amazing.
Totally amazing.
And it's amazing how they could train the dogs to do that, detect cancers. They have service dogs for people have diabetes. Whenever there's a fluctuation in blood sugars, the dogs can tell. There's just epilepsy. People can, the dogs can know before a seizure happens, or it's just amazing. It really is.
And the really heavily trained dogs for blind people is amazing.
Yes, seeing eye dogs.
And
it really
you had
is.
a cousin or a nephew who was a policeman with a dog, and those service dogs too at the police are amazing in how they take care of them and bring them home.
Yeah, well, my cousin has a special needs son, and they didn't know this, but he has a bleeding disorder where it's not hemophilia like that, but he does have a bleeding disorder. So if something happens, he bleeds out. He doesn't have a good clotting factor, but it's not hemophilia. Anyway, he was sleeping and he ended up having a bloody nose, and it was really, really bad. And their house dog, like their regular house dog, went in and got my cousin and her husband and woke them up and barking, and was bringing him in. And they had to rush him to the hospital. And the doctors said if he was just sleeping and he could have bled out and died.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever heard that story.
Yeah. I'll tell you. My aunt will tell you that story. Yeah. Well, we love our little furry friends. Before I came in the house here, I think there were like 6 squirrels in our backyard because, we're crazy and we feed them. And we have houses out there for them for the winter time. But squirrels plant thousands of trees accidentally. Yeah, because they forget where they bury acorns, which grow into new trees. Yeah.
I saw Sarah Silverman do a comedy routine on that.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way she said it sarcastically. And I said, I just found this out. And it's like, duh.
Yeah, because they bury it all. They say that the peanuts and stuff that we give them and they bury it, they only remember 50% of like where they put them.
We should have some peanut trees out.
We should.
Maybe we do.
Well, it's funny because if we let stuff grow, and we do, because we do a no-mow May, we get corn stalks growing because we give them corn. So the corn kernels get buried.
I've seen one that had one kernel on. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So exactly one kernel
What
of
the
corn.
heck?
Oh, here's the next one. We're just talking about it. They are nature's gardeners. By hoarding seeds and nuts, squirrels help forests regenerate.
Yes.
Yeah. They fake bury. Oh, listen to this. They fake bury food to trick thieves. Squirrels sometimes pretend to bury nuts to mislead potential robbers.
Was these other squirrels are trying to fake out?
That's probably they're pretending.
Yeah.
Like you send Wanda out and she pretends to pee, and then she comes in to
Wants
get
a
a treat.
treat,
Yeah,
yeah.
so she pretends to pee. Squirrels' teeth never stop growing.
Ooh.
I just saw a video about a squirrel, like an outdoor squirrel, where his teeth grew really, really long, and it was like going through the roof of his mouth, and the person realized it and caught the squirrel and brought it in and got their teeth cut. Yeah.
Jesus.
Fun
fact
I wouldn't
Friday.
even know that. Some squirrels can rotate their ankles 180 degrees to climb down trees head first. I've seen plenty of squirrels coming down a tree head first.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen one go backwards. Have you?
No. I've seen them fall.
Squirrels talk using tail flicks and chirping sounds.
Yes, I've heard the chirping sounds.
Yeah, I've seen the tail flicks too. Yeah. We have a lot of squirrels out there. And we had a possum out there last night when I went out. A little possum. I hope you found I have little heating houses out there. 2 heated houses.
Our accountant listens to the show, and we wonder why our bills are so high.
We have to. I know, our electricity bill. We have 2 heated houses and a heated water.
The water, though, is really important.
Yeah, it is.
I see animals from crows to squirrels to rabbits drinking out of that water when it's 40 below and there's no water out there.
Yeah. Right now, everything's melting, so there's lots of water for them. Yeah, it's not the same if they eat snow, because it's not the same. But anyway, mentioning our accountant, Mike. We have to call Mike and make an appointment soon.
Oh, no.
The later, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to talk about eagles. We have time for eagles?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Some eagles build nests weighing over a ton.
I believe it.
We saw a nest.
Oh, my God.
Where was that? Delano.
Yes.
Yes, we went up to Delano, Minnesota, And there was
it's in their backyard.
Yes.
It's as big as a Volkswagen.
I've never seen a nest that big in my life. Eagles have eyesight 8 times better than ours. They can spot prey from 3 miles away. They dive at 200 miles an hour, making them one of the fastest birds on the planet. And their grip is 10 times stronger than a human's, strong enough to crush bones. They mate for life, sticking with their partner and raising their young together. Eagles can soar for hours without flapping by riding thermal winds.
Well, yeah, eagles are amazing. Their bones are hollow, so they can fly.
That's right.
We see them all around the river now, but
Yep,
also just be careful, hunters out there.
The lead.
Right, exactly. Wendy, thank you so much for lightening up our week here and talking about
have a
fun
good
facts.
week, and hopefully things will get better around here and everywhere else in the United States.
All right, we'll see everyone on Monday.
Ever wonder how far you could go with a bachelor's or master's degree? Metro State University is hosting 2 open house events